Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Slavs Geek Talk podcast. Today's episode should be interesting, for sure. We're going to talk about the DCU's Justice League. It should be fun. Who could be part of the DCU's Justice League? You know what? And I decided, why not do some fan casting? Who could play these roles? Who could be the Batman? Who could be the Flash? And yeah, sure, there's rumors out there who could be Green Lanterns. We know who one is. But let's talk about the others. So that's what we're going to do on today's show. So let's get into it. Why don't we? Let's do it. Oh, man. I hope you're all doing well. I'll move this. Oh, what's going on? Wrong screen up. How's it going? Hope you're all doing well. There was an interesting story that popped up just a little bit ago. I want to talk about that first. We're going to get into that here first, but I want some people to join. See some comments here. We got a couple people. We got the Fandom Man. I think John is the main Green Lantern, sadly. We talked about that on Monday. Hunter Iggy, Slaz Free Talk. What's up? What is going on, Hunter? How is it going? Love to see you stop by, of course. Welcome. Love to see everybody stop by. Great to see everybody stop by. How's it going? Let some people get in here. Get rid of this music before it just starts over like it likes to do. All right. So there was a story that popped up. I want to talk about this first because I thought it's interesting, and it has to do with what we're talking about today because, well, we're talking about the DCU, which we've been doing a lot lately. I do want to change that up. So guys, don't worry. We are going to talk about other things. And I know a lot of people like to talk about the DCU, specifically with my channel, because I am so hopeful with the DCU. And that's exciting. I'm excited about it, and you should all be too. But I want to talk about this story that just came up. And let's get it pulled up here. So this is coming from Entertainment Weekly, and James Gunn teases how Creature Commandos kicks off his new DC universe. So this is an interesting article because we know Creature Commandos is going to kick off the DCU at the end of this year. Sure, it's not the first movie. The first movie we know is going to be Superman in July. That's fun. That's exciting. We're all excited about that. But it's not even so much how he talks about Creature Commandos being the thing that kicks it off. What is exciting about this is how he talks about the DCU in general and what his expectations are from the filmmakers within the DCU. I encourage people to go check out this article. It's not very long, but I want to talk about this one specific point in the article, and it's right here. He says, the thing I've always loved about DC Comics was that you had your mainstream comics that always ran, but they also had these tonally different comics like Watchmen and The Dark Knight Returns and All-Star Superman. It was different from Marvel in that way. That's something that I really want to retain within the studio, that every project is going to bring a different vision by the artists who are creating them. That is something that is a beautiful thing to hear when you look at the DCU, because there are so many people who sit there and whine and cry and are so worried about James Gunn heading the DCU. Oh, you're just going to get dick and fart jokes. You're just going to get his crude humor. You're just going to get what he does all the time. But in the grand scheme of things, this is something that he alluded to and he said over on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. I would think it was last year at some point. He was saying something along these lines that he wants the filmmakers, the artists, the writers, the directors to put their stamp on the films they are making for the DCU. And that is a very important thing that's going to differentiate the DCU from the MCU. It's going to differentiate the DCU from the DCEU. And that's exciting. That is something that is different than what we've seen before. And that is going to shut a lot of people up. And that is what is really exciting because it's not going to be like what we've seen in the past. A lot of people think it's going to be just like what we've seen in the past, but it's not, because think about this. Sure, we got Creature Commandos, which was written by James Gunn and created by James Gunn. We got Superman and Peacemaker, all part of James Gunn's vision. But that's starting off the DCU. That's kind of setting the stage for the DCU. And that's fine. But once we start getting into these other projects, these other things, the Wallers, the Batmans, the Swamp Things, the Green Lanterns, these are all going to start showcasing all of these other filmmakers, all of these other creators, and what they can bring to the DCU. And it's going to expand this universe in ways that we've never seen a universe like this, specifically because we've only ever seen one successful one, the MCU, but we're going to see it expanded in a way that we've never seen before. And James Gunn and Peter Safran want to allow these filmmakers the freedom to, express themselves through these films. And that's exciting. That's something that we should all get behind and get excited about. Now, there is a little area to be worried, because if you take a look at something like what happened recently over at Lucasfilm with Star Wars, and you take a look at what happened with The Acolyte, that was a show that was very much a filmmaker, a creator, Leslie Headland, who expressed herself, wanted to put this project, this was all her brainchild, absolutely had Dave Filoni's help and everything like that. And it failed miserably. It caused a huge divide. There's a huge problem with the fandom right now because of that show. So there needs to be some reining in. There absolutely needs to be some reining in, unlike, unlike what happened at Lucasfilm. So hopefully James Gunn understands that, and Peter Safran understands that. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, I think that this is real exciting for everything going on. I think when it comes to James Gunn, what he's doing here, this is exciting. So let me know. I'm going to take a look at the comments here, what you guys are saying. I apologize for the little technical difficulties here. I kind of hit a wire. I think it kind of blew everything out of proportion and threw me off here. So I apologize for that. Let's get back into this, though. I apologize. All right, let's see. Let's see. You say, the Fandom Man says, Slavs Talk, you get the chance, you should check out Boba Talks. He does DC movie theory ideas. I will check him out. Is he on YouTube? I'll check him out. I don't know. I mean, I've heard the name, but I haven't really gone and checked him out. You also say, I believe that James is shooting for Superman and other projects to be comic counterpart and their own, like he mentioned in his announcement video, and making them with their own different tones. Well, that's kind of it's kind of the whole idea. That's kind of the thought. He wants things to be different tones. We talked about that just the other week. I think it was last week, actually. We talked about how the idea is with the announcements is all the different tones. Waller is going to be different, and the Authority is very different. Green Lantern is very different. Brave and the Bold, Swamp Thing. It's all different tones for the announcements that he made for Gods and Monsters. So that's kind of the thing. He wants to make these things very different than what for, and that's exciting. I am really excited about that. So I am absolutely 100% excited about what he's doing with this. I think it's going to be great what he does with this, and how he talks about how he wants these filmmakers to have complete control with things and really put their creative touch on these films and these projects is phenomenal. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great way to handle things moving forward. For sure. It is a great thing. All right. Now let's get into exactly what we came here to talk about, because that is the big thing that we want to talk about, right? Right? That's what we want to talk about. I think I want to do this way. So we want to talk about the DCU, the Justice League, because again, we've got a brand new DC universe, and it wouldn't be the DC universe without the Justice League, right? I mean, we're going to have a Justice League. There's no doubt about it. But what members are going to be part of it? There are a plethora of characters within the DCU pantheon of just possibilities of who could be in this Justice League. There's plenty. There's plenty. And the fandom man up here says definitely, most definitely Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Of course you're going to have the Trinity in there. I mean, if you don't, can you even call it the the Justice League? I'm kidding. Yeah, you could. You could have it without all three of them. But I think you have to have at least Superman in there, right? Right? There's some rumors going around of what's going to happen in this Superman movie. There's some belief that there's going to be some form of the Justice League in this movie, and that they try to, or that they've been trying to recruit Superman for it, and he's been reluctant. So that's some thought. So who could be part of it? Well, we do know that we are already going to have some the already established characters in this DCU at this point. And obviously David Cornsweet as Superman, and this is our Superman. Again, I'm not very keen on this revealing image, this image that they revealed for Superman. I think this is one of the weakest images that we've seen, or only image that we've seen. It wasn't a great way to reveal everything. Let's just put it that way. I think it's not the best. I've been very upfront about that. As much as I like the suit, as much as I like what I've heard and seen about this movie, this was not a great way to reveal everything or reveal this. But that's besides the point. Let's move forward, because that's what we're talking about here. Okay, let's keep moving. Got a couple of comments here. Again, I want people to just kind of chime in here, because I want you to join the conversation. This is a talk about what we want to see from the Justice, who we want in the Justice League. And give me your thoughts on who you would love to see play these characters. I'm going to have you're going to see pictures, you're going to see names. I'm going to talk about names of who I would love to see as the Justice League members. I think it could be fun. Hunter Iggy says, put the intro of the Justice League cartoon series theme song to James Gunn's Justice League team. It's a great theme. It really is. Make something new and original. Why not? Why do we have to use the same? Make something new and original. Just like I made the video the other day, or not made the video, talked about in the video the other day, in the live the other day, about John Murphy's Superman theme. Go ahead and honor what came before. You're not going to ever be able to do what John Williams did. John Williams' theme for Superman is its own thing. It is huge. It is so great. It is so important, and it's so memorable for Superman. Hans Zimmer's theme is fantastic. It is great. It is very different than John Williams' theme. But John Murphy can't replicate those. He needs to make something his own, make something great. It doesn't need to be as good. It doesn't need to be as great. But it needs to be and feel Superman. It needs to be and feel for what that is, for what that movie brings. Same thing for a Justice League theme. Fandom Man says, I personally think the Hawk Girl might be in it. I think James is aiming for the Justice League, the animated series lineup. It's a possibility. Andrew JD, what's up, my man? I'd want another human besides Batman and one more lady along with Wonder Woman. Kudos Drawing. How's it going? Dave Bautista as Martian Manhunter. That's an interesting one. I didn't think of that one. That is interesting. Okay, so we got our Superman. We've got our Millie Alcock as Supergirl. Could she be part of the Justice League? That is a curious one, because we don't know where her movie is going to lead. We don't know where she's going to be in the DC universe at the end of her film. We don't know when the Justice League movie, when that comes up, where all these characters are going to be at. But it's interesting. You talk about wanting another human in there, one more lady alongside Wonder Woman. Well, Supergirl would be a very fitting. That's a woman and it's a lady. You could get her in there. I think that's a possibility. But where does she fit in the grand scheme of everything? Be interesting. But do we think that Supergirl and Superman will both be part of the Justice League? Because here's the crazy thing that I think of. We know that this universe, this DC universe, is going to be filled with superheroes. It's going to be filled with superheroes. It's going to be fantastical, which I really like. It's going to be fantastical. So not all these heroes have to be part of the Justice League. You can have a team of superheroes, the Justice League, but also have heroes that are outside of the Justice League. So Supergirl doesn't need to be part of it. She can be within the DC universe, be a hero, but not in the Justice League. Maybe it's just not for her. Maybe she wants to be off-world doing things. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But what do you think? Do you think Supergirl would be part of it? I'm going to say no. But I want to go through the list of the actors, the actresses, the characters we know are already part of the DC universe. We've got, and I should probably move me, I don't know. Crud. I did the thing. There we go. We'll move me here. We got Edie Gathegi, I can't say his name, as Mr. Terrific. And I tell you what, he looks fantastic in the role. And I guess we could see him in the Justice League. I could see him in there. Why not? Kudos Drawing says Titans maybe for Supergirl. Perhaps. I guess it's a possibility. I mean, Titans. I view Titans more as street level crime. I know that they have Superboy in there in some iterations. I just don't know. I don't know if Supergirl fits for, but we don't know what they're going to be doing with the Titans. We don't know what the plans are exactly. So Supergirl could fit in there. What's her age? What's her stance? Where does she stand in all of this? Where does she, like, how long has she been on Earth? A lot of those questions need to be answered when it comes to Supergirl. But you could be right on that. Andrew, JD, I don't see them both in the roster at the same time. Too much overlap with their powers. Again, that's why I don't see her on the Justice League. Again, it's possible that they could put her in there, maybe as a fill-in if something happens in Superman. But again, there could be other reasons story-wise that they don't have her in there. But what do you think about Mr. Terrific? Could he fit in there? Put Supergirl in Young Justice. I don't think they're going to have a Young Justice. They're going to be going the Teen Titans route, which is, I know, different than Young Justice. I know it's two different teams. But I don't think they're going to have a Teen Titans and a Young Justice. I don't think that they're going to do that. I think they're going to just do Teen Titans. And somebody already kind of said that. Mr. Terrific, though, I could see, it would be really ridiculous because I'm just looking at the pictures I have up here. You have him as the character from his X-Men for class. I can't remember the character's name. It's leaving me because I'm in DC mode right now. But he dies in that movie. What if Mr. Terrific just dies in this movie? Like, just what if he dies? Like, he keeps popping up in movies as a cool character and then he just dies. Like, that would be ridiculous. That would just be ridiculous. Come on. Justice for Edie Gathegi, or whatever his name is. Hunter says, or Justice League Unlimited with multiple hero teams. Yeah, we could see something like that. Absolutely. Who else we got? Obviously, we got Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner. How many Green Lanterns do we need in a Justice League? Because we know we're going to get 2 other Green Lanterns. We know that. We got, did I put a picture? Yeah. And then we got Hawk Girl as Isabella Merced. I think she's going to be in the Justice League for sure. Guy Gardner, I'm not sure of. I don't know. See, I'm still stuck on this rumor about Guy Gardner that I heard for Superman. And I just don't think he makes it out of that movie. I just don't think he does. Maybe he does. I don't know. I'm just stuck in this rumor and stuck on that rumor. And if he doesn't make it, then I don't think he's going to be in a Justice League. And it's also Nathan Fillion. So I just don't see him making it out of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm stuck on that rumor. I don't know. Andrew says, Mr. Terrific would be perfect at managing the other team members. He was really important in the recent animated Crisis movies. The Fandom Man says, I would like to see Green Arrow. Yes, Green Arrow would be fantastic. And I actually have him in here, so we will get to him. Let's see. Batman. So Batman, obviously. So we're going to get into people we don't see. Now, Batman, I would love to see. And obviously, we're going to have a Batman. I know there's people who want to see Robert Pattinson's Batman, and I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. But, you know, I think Taron Egerton would be amazing, amazing as Batman. And I know some people probably don't see it. I did a podcast on my other show, my old show. It's coming back, believe it or not. I don't know when, but it's coming back, called Bridging the Geekdoms. And we did kind of a fan casting of who we want as DC's heroes. This was like a year ago. And I didn't pick this for Batman. I actually picked an older Batman. Why I picked an older Batman? I don't know. I was thinking, oh, he has a kid, he has this. But if they go younger, I think Taron Egerton is like 33, 32, 33 years old. Good age. He's got a good build. He's got that good face. He's got a good face for Batman, I think. He's a really good actor, too. Good looking Bruce Wayne, I can tell you that much. I think he'd be perfect for this role. He'd be really good for this role. I don't know. What do you guys think? Who would you want to see as Batman? I know some of you guys are going to say like Alan Ritchson. I know some of you guys are going to say, what's his name from Supernatural and The Boys. You guys are going to say all the same names that come up all the time. I know you guys are going to say it. Kudos drawing. I think Hawkgirl joins JL with Wally West with the same age range, I guess. Interesting. You know, it's interesting that you talk about the age because I think the age range is going to be really important here. We're seeing something very interesting happen with the ages of these characters in this universe, just from some of the casting choices and rumors we're hearing. You take a look at Green Lantern. You know, Guy Gardner's a bit older. Hal Jordan is going to be in his 50s. Jon Stewart's younger. And I guarantee we're going to get a Kyle Rayner at some point, and Kyle Rayner is probably going to be in his 20s, probably around the same age as Jon Stewart or younger. It looks like they're going for having some veterans, some older veterans, superheroes, but we're also going to see the younger. We've heard rumors that about the Teen Titans, that the Titans have already been established. And if the Titans are established, that means that there's at least a Nightwing, because we know Damian Wayne is going to be the Robin in Brave and the Bold. So we know that Dick Grayson is already aged out of being Robin. So there has to be a Nightwing. So you see like the ages, we're seeing this interesting dynamic that James Gunn is building with this universe where we're going to see some of the versions of these characters, like the Barry Allens, probably are going to be pretty old. You know, Barry Allen could probably be in his 40s. Late 30s, 40s. And then you could have a Wally West who's in his 20s. That could be interesting. Andrew says, Jensen Ackles voiced Batman in the Crisis movie too. That's who I was thinking of, Jensen Ackles. That's what people want. People want Jensen Ackles for some reason. And I'm not against Jensen Ackles. I think he's a good actor. I like him as Soldier Boy. He's good as Soldier Boy. And we know he's going to, well, I'm not going to say anything, but he was good as Soldier Boy. And he was good in Supernatural. He's a good actor, but he's older. And I think the way I'm looking at things, and I'm not saying that Batman has to be super old, but I think that 35 to like 36, like I'm thinking around that age range is where they're going to probably look for Batman. That's what I'm thinking. 35 to 40. And I know that I just said Taron Egerton's like around 33, 34 years old. Somewhere around there is what I think he is. So he could fit into that mold right there. Definitely could fit into that mold. And that would give Robin the ability to be in his early 20s and then Damian Wayne to be in his teens. You know, it all kind of fits in there. It really does. And I kind of like that. You know, I think I like Taron Egerton. I like this casting. And again, this is all hypothetical. This is all fan casting. But I think Batman absolutely has to be part of the Justice League, and I would like to see Taron Egerton as him. That's who I would like to see. Kudo says, reason I like Dave to be Martian, the ages. See, I'm going to get to Martian Manhunter in a little bit, and we'll come back to this, but that's still a very interesting casting for sure. Andrew says, Kyle, my pick for the Lantern in the League. Maybe we'll get something similar to the roster from the 90s run. I'd love Wally to be the League's Flash. Kudos says, me too, Batman should be 35-ish. All right. Next up, I got Wonder Woman, and I have 2 picks for this because I've always loved the Eliza Gonzalez pick. Eliza Gonzalez, I think, is, she's a beautiful actress. She's a good actress, and she's got that, what's the word I'm looking for? That look that you would think for Wonder Woman, exotic look. There we go. But another name that kind of started popping up recently is Adria Ariana. That's her name. She was in Morbius, and Andor. And she's also got that kind of exotic look as well. She's the one on the bottom in the picture here. And she's a pretty good actress. I mean, I remember seeing her in Andor, and she's a pretty good actress. I know a lot of people like the woman who played Victoria in The Boys. In the past couple seasons of The Boys, they liked her and thought that she would be really good for the role. But I think they need to go with a more lesser known. I guess the lady who played Victoria in The Boys was lesser known, but I don't know. I think one of these two would be good. I don't know. I don't really have any other reason besides I just like their look. I think the exotic look. I think the demeanor that they were able to portray in the shows and the movies I've seen them in, they're able to give off a very good demeanor. They're able to hold their own against big actors, specifically Eliza Gonzalez against John Hamm. She did really well against them. And Ariana, she did really well in the ensemble cast in Andor, specifically on that planet where they were going into the Empire's little base there. She did really well in that ensemble. So, I think it could work, either one of them. That's just kind of the way I look. But again, I know a lot of people like, who else is another one? What's her name? Blanking on the name here, but everybody loves her. And I think she's just kind of aged out now. I can't remember her name. It's all right. Really piercing blue eyes. Everybody likes her because she's got a big rack too. I can't remember what her name is though. Oh man, she was just in the Witches show on AMC. Can't remember her name. That's gonna bother me. What do we got? Kudos says, to be different, Zendaya is a good Wonder Woman. Ew, no. Zendaya is a good actress. I give her that. She is a very good actress. I don't see her as a Wonder Woman. I just don't. Azio, what's going on, man? If she was a bit younger, I would kind of like Meg Holloway for Wonder Woman. She even has that classic curly hair. I don't know Meg Holloway. I don't really know who that is. Let me see. I may not know her name. Maybe if I see her. Meg Holloway. Okay, I see her. Wait a minute. She was on she was in Moon Knight. Okay. Yeah. Kalamawe, whatever. I can't say her name. That's her name though. Kalame, whatever. She's a weird last name. Gotcha. Yeah, she's kind of cool, but yeah, should be interesting, I guess. Not my first pick. Kudos, you said Zendaya already. Azio, if she was a bit younger, you said that. I saw that already. You said that already. You said it twice. Okay. Supercell, what's up, dude? Victoria from The Boys would make an interesting Talia al Ghul. Now that, yes, I like that. If they go with it, well, we have Damien. Why would they not have Talia? That makes sense. I like that. Sign me up for that. She would make an excellent Talia. At least the way that she was able to act in The Boys, the way she just, I mean, again, I go back to her demeanor, the way that she was able to stand up, toe to toe with some of those other actors in the show. Absolutely. I buy it. I like it. Sign me up for that. You don't need to cry, Aziel. It's all right. Whatever. Look, I'm terrible with names, so you don't need to cry. It's okay. It's okay. But Wonder Woman, again, definitely going to be in the Justice League. Absolutely. All right. Who do we got now? All right. This is where we start going with our Green Lanterns. I know. Everybody wants or thinking Josh Brolin. I still want Timothy Oliphant. That's who I want. I think that's who I think would be the best choice out of everybody I've said. The more I think about it, I just like Timothy Oliphant. I think he is a fantastic actor. I loved him in the was it the Book of Boba Fett that he showed? No, was it in the Mandalorian? I don't know, whatever one he was in the most. I think it was Mandalorian season 2, maybe. Whatever one he was more in. I liked him in that. I like him in everything I watch him in. And to be an older Hal Jordan, to be kind of at the end of his run as the character, I think Timothy Oliphant would fit that role better than Josh Brolin. Nothing against Josh Brolin. Just thinking about it more and more, I think Timothy Oliphant would work better for that. There's plenty of other character actors that could fit it better than Josh Brolin. I just kind of sit here and think, we haven't seen Timothy Oliphant in a superhero movie yet in this kind of capacity at all, or a superhero movie at all. And I think this would be good. There's people who want like the Chris Pine. I think he would be good. Sure, absolutely. There's people who want Matthew McConaughey, which I'm not a fan of. Ewan McGregor. I like that. It's an interesting choice, but I like Timothy Oliphant the best. I do. I like it better, way better than James Brolin. I think they're going for James Brolin because of the name. I really think that's why they're going for him. I do. I think that's why they're going for him. I do. What do we got here? Fan Man says, I'm sorry for this. It's off topic. I walked into my local comic shop and it felt so good. It's been a while. Hey, man. I'm glad you have a local comic shop because the closest one to me is about 40 minutes away. And I tell you, anytime I go near there, and the crazy thing is, that's where my nearest movie theater is as well. So when I go to the movies, when I get a chance to go to the movies, where do I stop? I stop at the comic book store. I stop in there as well. It sucks. I hate not having a comic book store near me. It really does suck. It's unfortunate. I'm glad you got a chance to go in there. Kudos Strong says Tim is good as Hal. I think it would be great. I think it's better than Josh Brolin. Again, Josh Brolin is not a terrible choice. I just don't fully see him as Hal. I don't understand where they got this idea for him as Hal. I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know. Aziel says, by the way, did you read the stuff that Gunn is doing? Is going for the more comic book fantasy full feel for Superman film. Personally, I like the idea. A lot of potential for more sci-fi characters. Yeah, I mentioned a little bit earlier that they're going for the more fantastical feel for Superman, which I think is fantastic. I think it is amazing, and it's a great idea to go that route because it is going to be a way to differentiate itself from Marvel, to differentiate itself from the old DCEU even. More fantastical is great. I think that's a great idea. Absolutely. But sticking with Green Lantern, John Stewart. John Stewart is going to be a great character. I like John Boyega. I think he's a great actor. I think he was shortchanged in Star Wars. I think he should have been the lead of that trilogy. I think he should have been the lead of the sequel trilogy. The moment you find out that he's a stormtrooper turning, that is far more interesting than just Rey. Far more interesting. And he should have been the lead of that. He stole every scene that he was in when he was given something good. When he wasn't just yelling, Rey! When he was actually given something to do in those films. He stole every scene. He is not just good, he's a great actor. And I think it would be phenomenal for him to play John Stewart. I think it would be great. I think he would be fantastic in that role. Something he could grow with and build with and be in that role. I think he would be great. And that is my choice for John Stewart. I don't have anybody else. I don't want anybody else. I know that we're not going to get John Boyega, but I don't want anybody else. That has been my choice and pick for well over a year. That is who I've wanted as Jon Stewart Green Lantern. That is who I've wanted. Hunter Iggy. What about Eva de Dominici as Wonder Woman? She is 29. Let's see who she is, because I don't know who she is. Eva de Dominici. Wait, she looks familiar. Tiger, cleaning the fragile bodies. She looks familiar, but I don't know. I've never seen anything that she's in, so I don't even know who she is. So I couldn't. I mean, she has that exotic enough look, maybe, but I don't know who she is, so I couldn't really even speak to her acting abilities if it would work. So I can't really talk about that. Aziel says, I agree John Boyega had the potential to be the lead. The whole Stormtrooper tragic past sounds so interesting. It is so interesting. Man, don't get me started on Star Wars right now. Don't get me started. Maybe in a week or two I'll do a whole thing on Star Wars, a show where we just discuss Star Wars. I don't know if many of you care. I know a lot of you are DC fans, but sometimes I just need to vent about Star Wars sometimes. Sometimes I just have to. I'm sorry, but this is my therapy. I don't know if you guys understand that, but this show, this YouTube channel is sometimes my therapy. Sometimes I just got to vent about Star Wars. So yeah, I mean, I don't know who you guys would want to see as Jon Stewart. I know there's some names out there floating around, but John Boyega for me, I have to say I would love to see it. I think he would be fantastic as Green Lantern. I would love to see him take on a role like that, because he's going to be the main Green Lantern for a while. That's kind of the whole reason that they're making Hal Jordan old. I think that Josh Brolin's being Hal Jordan, or whoever plays Hal Jordan, he's going to be older because he's not going to be in it that much. He's not going to be around that much. He's going to be in it for a little bit, whether they kill him off or he retires, he walks into the sunset, whatever it is. Jon Stewart is going to be the Green Lantern for a number of years. That would give John Boyega this huge opportunity to be the face of a character, the face of a franchise, and he deserves it. Look, they gave him Pacific Rim after Charlie Hunnam left it, and it was just not a great movie. It just wasn't. That second Pacific Rim was not great, and he got shafted for that too. It wasn't his fault. It just wasn't a great movie. He's such a good actor that he deserves a chance to really showcase it. He can be a leading man. He can truly lead a franchise. Why not Green Lantern? Why not Green Lantern? That's what I say. Barry Allen's The Flash. Now, believe it or not, the man I have chosen for The Flash here was originally my Batman pick a year ago. This is the man I wanted for Batman a year ago. But because of what James Gunn appears to be doing, going with these old veteran, established characters, first iterations, Jake Gyllenhaal, I think, would be a fantastic Barry Allen. Think about that. He's got the quirkiness to him, the ability to play like a really smart character. Think about how he can talk really fast and be really quick, like that kind of thing. He can do that, and he's got a good slim build. I think he would be fantastic as Barry Allen, as the Flash. And it would play into what DC is doing with getting kind of like a big name star as these older characters, and then getting not such huge stars as the younger versions who are going to grow into it. The Josh Brolin for Hal Jordan, a Jake Gyllenhaal for Barry Allen, getting these bigger stars for the roles that are not going to be sticking around too long, but they're maybe for a movie or two, and then the younger stars that are going to grow into it. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is a great choice. Who do you think could be Barry Allen? Who do you think? Let's see. Supercell. Do you think we're getting the Lantern suits throughout the series? So for the Green Lantern series, yeah, I think Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to have the suits. I mean, how often? Depends on what kind of suits they are. Are they gonna be all CGI? Are they gonna be practical? It depends on how they use them and how they're made. Uh, I think Superman will tell us this because how Guy Gardner's suit, not his Lord Tech suit, but his actual Green Lantern suit is displayed, if it's fully CGI or if it's a mixture, will tell us what they'll be doing with the Green Lantern series because that plays into the budget of the show. They don't want to, they don't want to spend too much money on constantly putting on a suit on them. But I think we'll see it throughout the show. I think we will see them in the suits throughout the show. Mixie, what's going on? Boyega got potential. He does. He's got a lot of potential. Aziel, do you think they will ever go with the Parallax storyline for Hal based on his age? I don't know. I would love to see the Darkest Night or Brightest Day, Darkest Night storyline. Um, there's so much that I would love to see for Green Lantern, and if they're going to go with an older Hal, I don't see them going with many different stories with Hal. They could, or they can just shift it to. They don't need to specifically stay with the comics in that regard. They can shift the storylines to fit John Stewart or Kyle Rayner or even Jessica Cruz if they bring her in. They could shift them to those characters if they bring, or to the other characters if they really wanted to. We could see. That's the thing. It's the Brightest Day, Darkest Night. I can't remember what that series was. It's been a while. It's been 6 years since I even saw that. Read that. Supercell, Jake would be an interesting Barry. What about Jack Quaid as Wally? Jack Quaid, a lot of people like Jack Quaid. I'm not a huge fan of Jack Quaid. I'm not a huge fan as Jack Quaid. My Wally West is KJ Appa, and he was on Riverdale. He played the main character on Riverdale. I can't remember his name. Archie. There we go. Archie on Riverdale. And I know he's not a normal redhead. I know that. And it's not necessarily just the red hair that got me for it. He is actually a really good actor. He is. He's actually a good actor. He was probably the best actor on that show. But he's also the right age. And I think when I think of Wally West, when I think of the Wally West that I've read in the comics and that I've seen on the cartoons and that I've, watched and just grown up, trying to understand, because he is a very different type of character than Barry Allen. He is a much more emotional character. He runs, no pun intended, on his emotions so much more than Barry Allen does. Barry Allen is very scientific. He thinks through a lot more things. Wally is very emotional. And KJ Appa, the way he acted as Archie in Riverdale, shows that he is a very emotional type of actor. And that's why I think he could play the character really well. Again, the red hair is just a bonus that he looks decent with red hair. But I think he'd be really good. And this is kind of an off-the-wall choice, honestly, because I don't think they would ever go this route. But I think he would do really, really well. Jack Quaid, sure. He does okay in The Boys. I think a lot of people pick him because he's skinny and he's got weird curly hair of some sort. I think that's mostly why people pick him. I don't know. Besides that, I don't know. That's just me when it comes to Jack Quaid and Wally West here. McMixie says, personally, I prefer Wally in the DC. I think we're going to get Wally in the DCU. I think we're going to get both, just like we're getting Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, and eventually Kyle Rayner. And I'm sure we're going to get Jessica Cruz. I think we're going to get the whole Green Lanterns of all that we've seen. And I think we're going to get Wally West. I think we'll eventually get Bart Allen. I think we're going to get all these different heroes. I think that's the way they're doing it. I think that, the whole idea with the DCU is to really showcase as many of the heroes as possible, to have this playground, this sandbox to just play in and do as much as you possibly can with these characters and just have as much fun as possible. And that's what's exciting. That is what is exciting about it. Because yeah, you can have a Barry Allen who's older. And the great thing about Barry Allen, and even with the Flashes, is you can have an older Barry Allen, and at some point in a Flash movie, you could go back in time and have a younger Barry Allen. And that's a great thing about the Flash. You can do some crazy things like that. But I do think that we're going to have a Flash and Wally West Flash as well as Barry Allen Flash. I think we're going to have both of them for sure in the DCU, and pretty much right away. I think we're going to have them. But the question is, are we going to get the traditional Wally West? Or are we going to get the New 52 Wally West? That's the question, because the traditional redhead, white Wally West, or are we going to get the New 52 who is, a black kid? That's the question. That's going to be interesting to see which way James Gunn goes with that. I prefer not to say anything. Like, I liked where they went, and I actually came up with a great story idea where you actually cast both of them, and you have both of them and have a great incident happen for your very first Flash movie that introduces this Wally West, and you have this Wally West, and then you have him get lost in the Speed Force in time, and then introduce the New 52 version into the DCU in the same movie. It'd be crazy. It'd be like, who would do that in a first movie? But it'd be interesting and crazy to do. I got to find that video. It's over on Bridging to Geekdom somewhere in one of my videos, live shows there. It was a really interesting concept and idea I came up with. I thought it was pretty interesting. But yeah. Bradley Kudos says Bradley. Are you saying Bradley Cooper as Barry? Is that what you're saying? That wouldn't be bad. Is that what you're saying, Bradley Cooper? McMixie says Bradley as Barry on point. Is that who you're saying, Bradley Cooper? That wouldn't be bad. I guess I could see that. I still like mine better, though. No, this is fun. It's all theorized. And that's what's so much fun about this. And that's what I think a lot of people miss out on when they get so angry and they get so upset about, oh, the DCU is going to be trash. It's going to be terrible. It sucks. They're missing out on this fun. This is what's fun about being hopeful and excited about what's coming. Because if you're going to sit there and trash on it and just talk about all this, the crap that you think is going to happen, you miss out on this. This is so much fun to talk about the potential and what could happen and theorizing. Yeah, none of it may come to fruition, but it's still fun to do. Like, that's some of the most fun about being a fan of anything, is theorizing and talking. I could sit here for hours just talking about the DCU and thinking about what could be, and it may never come to happen, but it's still fun to talk about and it's fun to theorize. Absolutely, it's fun. Franny 2778, what is going on? I just today bought a comic book about Wally West. Well, what book did you buy? What book did you buy about Wally West? And was it the New 52 Wally West, or was it the traditional Wally West? Which one was it? He says, or she, I don't know, Franny, are you a girl or a boy? That could be either way, that name. I'm sorry. I like the red and blue Wally West suit. Yeah, it's a good suit. McMixie, there's Wallace West, who's black, and there's Wally West. Wallace West, who's black, and there's Wally West. Yes, you're correct. Aziel, have you ever read the story For the Man Who Has Everything from Alan Moore? Did I read that one? Let me see. Let me pull it up. For the Man Who Has Everything. Let me see. I have not read that one. No. Oh, that's an old one. That is an old one. It's a Superman book. I thought we were talking about the Flash here. That's why you confused me. It's a Superman book. No, I have not read that. Kudos says, agree. This is fun. Exactly. This is what's fun about just being excited about things, man. This is what's fun. Franny says, I would like to see Deathstroke and Green Arrow, hoping they'll be in the DCU. Oh, you bet your bottom dollar, whatever. Yeah, they're going to be in the DCU. Look, James Gunn's talking about how fantastical this is going to be, how fantastical this universe is going to be. You know, we're going to see things like Deathstroke and Green Arrow. You know, we're going to see it. Who we got? Oh, look at that. We got Green Arrow next. Look, we're just, we completely lost track of who could be in the Justice League. No, we're just talking about casting for people. This is crazy. We're just getting out of hand here. We're just having fun. We're just having fun. That's all we're doing. Charlie Hunnam, will it be? Charlie Hunnam, will it be? Will it be? I don't know if any of you get the reference, if you were even around at that time. It was a couple years ago. Somebody was hounding Zack Snyder leading up to Zack Snyder's Justice League, thinking that Green Arrow would show up in the Justice League movie, and kept asking him, Charlie Hunnam, will it be for Green Arrow? So I always make fun of that. I know a lot of people do. Anyways, that's who my pick would be. And it's always going to be my pick for Green Arrow because he is a great actor. Not a great actor. He's a good actor. He's a strong actor. But he just fits the look, the demeanor, the feel of what I think Oliver Queen should be. He's got that gruffness. He's got that roughness. He's got that just demeanor. And I think he would be great as Green Arrow. Will Charlie Hunnam ever do it? Probably not. I don't think he will ever do it, but I think he would be perfect for the role. I think he would be great for the role. Will he do it for the DCU and James Gunn? Probably not. Probably not, but that's my choice. Who do you have for Green Arrow? Who would you like to see as Green Arrow in the DCU? That's what I have to ask. Aziel. Most people don't give it a chance, but there's a lot of fun on talking about it on the process. Exactly. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. Supercell, what tone would you like to see for Brave and the Bold? Brave and the Bold, that's a good question. What tone would I like to see? I want to see it. That's it's actually a tough question because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see anything like what they did with Pattinson's Batman. That is too grounded. That is too... I like fantastical in my Batman. I do. I like it to be a little fantastical. Even Nolan's Batman's had a sense of fantastical in it. I would like it not as grounded as the Nolan Batman's. So a little more supernatural than that. But tone-wise, I guess not dark and gritty, but not I mean, you want it to be a Batman movie. You know, I mean, you want it to be Batman. You want it to be you don't want it to be like overly fun, but you want it to be you have your it is tough because I don't want it to feel like every Batman movie that's come before it. And that's kind of the problem that you run into when you have so many Batman movies now. Sure, your Joel Schumacher films are what they are, and we're never gonna hopefully never get back to that. We don't want that, but we don't want the Tim Burton-ness. We don't want to retread what Nolan did. I don't want to go back to what Reeves did. And what Zack Snyder was doing with Batman was, I think was on the right track for Batman. I liked, before you get all upset, what I mean is the feel and tone of Batman. I know that he was a little dark and gloomy, but when they started getting hit, when they were pushing him towards the more hopefulness, when he came out of the darkness, when he realized what Superman meant to the world and what he meant to him, and it pulled him out kind of in the Justice League portion of his arc, when it was finally like, we need to get Superman back. That aspect of Batman and Zack Snyder's story, that Batman I really, really liked because it was hopeful. He knew that he was a symbol of something. Like, that's the kind of tone I want for Batman. Not the I'm cool with murdering, let's murder people Batman. Not that. If that makes sense. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of what I want to see. Kiddo says, yep, Bradley Cooper as Barry. Was liking him as Green Arrow, but I kind of like Brandon Skellner as the Arrow. That would be a good choice. I know a lot of people liked him as Bruce Wayne as well, which is not a bad choice, but I really like Taron Egerton as Bruce Wayne Batman. Great for a love team with Canary. Who could be Canary? I didn't think of that. Man. So much to talk about. Franny, man, haha, I bought Flash Forward today, actually. Flash Forward. Sounds familiar. DC Comics. I'm sorry, I gotta look up what this is. It's a graphic novel. The DC website sucks with this stuff. Flash forward. Okay, whatever. His name is Wally West. He is the fastest man alive. That is until the multiverse was rewritten without him or his family in it. Wally returned and tried to make it work. Yeah, I don't remember that one either. Whatever. Okay. Moving on. Man, my comic lack thereof knowledge is showing right now. Azio, it's great. There is also an amazing adaptation on the DCAU. Talking about the one that you talked about. Mixie Ollie is so underrated, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, we could get a great Oliver Queen story. I think he's ripe for an HBO or a Max show. It wouldn't need to be like a long show like they did with Arrow on the CW or anything. It could be a limited run show, like 1 or 2 seasons, limited run, and then just have him pop up in movies, in like Justice League movies or whatever. I think that would be perfect. Austin Butler is Green Arrow. That's another great choice. He's on the rise right now, though. So right now would be a great time to grab him, but his stock might be just a little too high. They may have missed their opportunity to grab him. They may have just missed it. Like if they grabbed him last year, they may have been able to get him at a decent cost, a decent price, and buckle him down for a few years. But he may be just past that point right now. Franny says, I think Gotham City will be dark and grounded, but with the fantasy villain elements like Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Man-Bat, etc. I hope so. Man, do I hope so. I don't want another movie with Catwoman and Penguin and Riddler and just the same old villains we've seen how many times now. I want something more fantastical, 100%. Bradley Cooper as Hal Jordan. I'm not a big fan. Mr. Terrific says Bradley Cooper as Hal Jordan. All right. Next up, I got Martian Manhunter. I have as John David Washington, and you would know him from Tenet. Now, I know, who was it over here that was saying Dave Bautista as Martian Manhunter, which I think is a very, very interesting pick. I think that is very interesting. I would have never thought of that. But John David Washington as Martian Manhunter, I think, is a fantastic choice as well. Dave Bautista, though, man, that is interesting. Denzel Washington is Martian Manhunter. No, his son, not Denzel, his son, John David. Come on now. No, the Dave Bautista thing is interesting. I think Bautista will show up in the DCU for sure. He's great friends with James Gunn. I'm sure he'll show up in some form or fashion. Absolutely. But in what capacity? That's the question. In what capacity will he show up? I just don't know. I don't know. Be interesting, though, to see what happens. For sure. What else we got? Aquaman. Aquaman has to be in it, right? And then who didn't like Jason Momoa? Jason Momoa did well. He did well as Aquaman. We know Jason Momoa is going to be Lobo. I mean, if they don't make Jason Momoa Lobo, then what's even the point of Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa? And look, if you saw the Minecraft movie trailer, he looks terrible in that. Dude, he needs to get a new management team. I'm sorry. Then again, he could just be having fun. Like, let the man have fun, right? Let him have fun. But he looks terrible in that. Anywho. Jason Momoa 100% needs to be Lobo, but Alan Ritchson as Aquaman, 100%. And I know people, he was almost Aquaman in Smallville, or he was Aquaman in Smallville, whatever it was. I know. But this, the build, the age, the demeanor, I think is perfect. I think it would be fantastic. Perfect. Come on. You can't tell me this isn't great and a great idea. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. Anna, Anne and sees the spider. I'm terrible with names. I really need to find somebody to just say the names for me. Have you all discussed Vixen yet? I hope she is included in the DCU. I haven't discussed Vixen. I don't even have her in my listing here. But who would you like to see as Vixen? Because I haven't even like I didn't think that Vixen would be part of the at least the start in Justice League. Maybe at some point. Maybe at some point. Probably would be part of Justice Society. Possibly. I could see that. McMixie, I don't think people know how powerful John is. Yeah. They've not showcased him enough in really anything besides comics. So why would at least the general audience don't know? I mean, that's the problem. I mean, most people don't even know what his weakness is. Like his biggest weakness being, fire, essentially. Like, people don't know that, and his other weakness being his deep, I guess, regret or distaste for himself for what he what happened to him on Mars and what he did on Mars, like that. Those two things are what are his biggest weaknesses and what he's done to himself, mentally. But people don't know him enough because they just haven't shown him enough. They're show Yeah, I mean, Supergirl he was on, but they didn't. That show is meh. Supercell, John David Washington as Martian Manhunter is a great pick. I wouldn't mind Batista as Hugo Strange. Again, yeah, that's an inspired pick. I think a lot of people say that just because of the way he looked in Blade Runner 2042 with the round glasses. Everybody's like, "Oh, you could be Hugo Strange." Sure. Dave Bautista is a great actor. He is probably the best wrestler turned actor, acting wise, skill wise. He is. I don't know. I don't know where we go with Dave Bautista at this point when it comes to characters in the DCU. If you saw recently, he's dropped a lot of weight and a lot of muscle, which is really interesting because I think that means that we're definitely never going to see him as Drax in any way, shape, or form again, because he's I don't think he's going to want to put on all that muscle again. And do we see him playing a more serious role as opposed to a superhero? I mean, he's what is he in his 50s now? He's getting up there in age. I mean, I don't think we see him as like a hero type of role anymore. Hugo Strange, I know, isn't a hero, so that could work. He's just basically a mad scientist. But where would he fit in the DCU? That's an interesting question. Let Alan be Aquaman again. I love it. Exactly. Kudos. I think it would be fantastic. It would be great to see him put on the wetsuit again, in a way, and just let him go to town and chew up the scenes. He's a good actor. He's a really good actor, and I think he would be great. He was great as Hawk in Titans for the little bit of that he was in that. He was really, really good in that show. I think he was probably one of the better parts of that show. So I think it would be great as Aquaman. Alan is perfect as Aquaman, not going to lie, McMixie says. Alan Richardson has a good build for Aquaman, says Andrew JD. I know, guys. I know. That's why I picked him. He's perfect all around. Honestly, it's also because that's who he was before. But that's all of my picks for the Justice League. That's who I would cast. That's who I would kind of a mix of these people who I would put in the Justice League just to start. Again, we know that this DCU is going to be chock full of superheroes. So some of these characters will be in the first iteration of the Justice League. Some of them won't be, and there's going to be other heroes that come into the Justice League and won't come into the Justice League. It's going to be crazy what they do with this universe, and I am looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a fantastical universe. That's what's exciting. I love that about this universe, and I tell you what, this theorizing, this just getting excited about what is coming is the greatest part about being a fan of something, being in a fandom like this. It's just I would sit there. I remember back when the Flash show was just coming out, or like the first 2 seasons, I had a buddy who I worked with, and we would sit there at work and talk for days, like nonstop, theorizing. Because remember how they used to do like who's the villain, like who's this villain, who's Savitar, who's this, who's that, and we would theorize daily, every single day. We would come up with ideas, and we come into work and be like, we think this is, and we would try and piece together everything. Like this is why, this is who it is, and how it works, and that's what makes it so much fun. Even Star Wars, who was Rey? Even though that story was crap, we still did it as Star Wars fans. We still would theorize and make videos and talk about it and go on Facebook, on social media, on Twitter, and have conversations. Who is Rey? Let's have conversations and talk. That is what makes fandoms fun. Not sitting there trashing the fans, trashing the universe before it's even out. Let's have fun. Let's theorize. When you sit there and trash it, you're missing out on what is the most fun part of the fandom. And that's this. That's exactly this. And I feel bad for a lot of those people who are missing out on this, because you could be joining this stream right here. You could be having this discussion with us and having fun and throwing your ideas in there and just having a lot of fun. And that's that I feel sorry for you all that are out there that aren't having this fun. What do we got? I think the actress Nafisa Williams would be good Vixen. She portrayed Thunder on Black Lightning CW TV show. That was actually a good show, specifically the first 2 seasons. I actually really enjoyed that show. CW had this thing where like the first 2 seasons of their shows were phenomenal, and then they just went downhill after that. Man, they struggled after the first 2 seasons with their shows. But yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. I remember that show, and yeah, I could see her pulling it off. For sure. Andrew JD says, and we have you to thank for making these spaces possible for us live. Thanks, man. Thanks. No problem. Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. All right. I need to be honest. Look, my channel was, I've been growing this specific channel here, truly growing it for about a year now, roughly a year. And when I started it, it was more along the lines of me just going on here to be able to voice my honest opinions on pop culture as a whole, talk, openly about it, how I truly feel about Star Wars, DC, Marvel, movies in general, to truly feel or to speak about how I feel about these things. And I was getting traction over the last year, and I was able to build my channel, and it was growing steadily, not crazy fast or anything. It was growing steadily, but definitely over the last couple months, it's picked up a lot of steam. And over the last month, especially, a lot of you fans of DC have taken notice, and I appreciate that. And that's why I've focused a lot of time in creating more DC content because of that. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge DC fan. I mean, DC, when it comes to my preferences in the pop culture world, I mean, Star Wars has always been at the very top for me. But after Star Wars, it's DC. And then after that comes Marvel, much further down. But DC has played a big role in my life, my entire life. I mean, the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater, I was 4 years old. I saw Batman 89. I was sitting on my mom's lap, movie theater. That's the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater. And I sat on my dad's lap watching reruns of 66 Batman, Adam West Batman. DC has been a part of my life for a long time. I loved the comics growing up. Not as much as Marvel comics, believe it or not. The comics I read more than anything were Marvel comics, but I didn't have a comic shop to go to when I was younger. The comics that I was able to read were Spider-Man comics, because my local grocery store had a little spinner rack near their book section. And the only comics they kept on there were Marvel comics, and like 95% of them were Spider-Man comics. And that's pretty much all I ever bought. Like, I go to the grocery store with my mom, and she was a big book reader, and I would sit there, and the only thing that interested me was the colorful pictures on the comics, and I would buy Spider-Man comics. So I read a lot of Spider-Man comics growing up, but I did read DC comics when I had the chance, but I watched a lot of cartoons, animated shows, Batman the Animated Series. I mean, that was my go-to animated show. Every day I get home from school, it was on Fox. I watched it every single day. I mean, DC is a big part of my life. So when I talk about DC, I'm talking about it because I do love it. When I sit there and talk about the Snyderverse, I did love the Snyderverse, even though I will talk about how the Snyderverse fans have turned toxic in a way. It's coming because I'm talking about it because I was part of that fandom, and I've seen what has happened with it. When I talk about the DCEU, I enjoyed the DCEU. There was parts of it that I really enjoyed, but there were parts of it I didn't enjoy. So when I talk about DC, you can all understand and know that I've been a fan. I've been there with all of you. I enjoy DC wholeheartedly. There's parts of it that I don't like, because not everything is for everybody. Like the Batman. I'm not a fan of Matt Reeves' Batman movie. I'm just not. But that's okay, because not everything is for everybody. I don't have to enjoy everything, just like you don't have to enjoy everything. And I'm not going to sit here and yuck on your yum. If you love the Batman, that's great. You can love the Batman. And I'm proud and happy that you do love the Batman. But it's just not for me. And I know that there's going to be another Batman movie that is for me at some point. But, getting back to my channel, like I appreciate all of you for following and subscribing and watching my live shows and watching my videos I'm uploading and liking them and sharing them and all of that. I appreciate everything you guys have been doing lately. And I didn't expect my channel to do what it's doing now. And I appreciate everything that you guys have been doing. And I hope you continue watching and sharing and joining the live stream and talking with me. I love it. I do. It's something that I get excited. I get excited every week whenever I'm like, hey, I got a live show today. I'm excited. I hope people show up and talk to me about this stuff. That's what I'm excited about. I get excited to do this. And it's because of you guys. You guys sit here and say, thanks for the space to talk about this. Well, I'm just as excited to sit here and talk with all of you and have this conversation with all of you. So thank you all for coming and making this a place for me to talk. Like I said, this is kind of a therapy for me. I can get stuff off my chest and get excited with people. That's what I like to do, get excited with people. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That kind of stuff. Kudos drawing, heart and thumbs up. So cool. All right. Yeah, I think that's a show today, guys. That's a show. So thank you all so much for stopping by. And yeah, I guess we'll call it a show. Guys, thank you so much. I could probably get rid of this, go like this. Yeah, guys, thanks for stopping by. Monday, might push the show a little bit later on Monday, probably like 6:30 Monday, so be on the lookout for the time for that. I don't have what we're going to talk about yet, but again, Mondays are more news and topics, that kind of show. And yeah, so we'll talk about the latest news, what's going on in the pop culture world with a main topic, everything like that. So keep an eye out for that. And then next week, we'll have our main discussion, one main topic we talk about next Thursday. So keep an eye out for those. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all later.